Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross-stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and taking some time to check out my video. I hope you like what you see. I'd love to know what you're stitching, and I'd love to have you join all of our collective stitching journeys here. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for entrusting me with your time and being a part of this whole stitchy experience. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. And as this year starts to wind up and we head into a new one, you kind of get into some reflections. And as always, I am so grateful for each and every one of you, whether you've been here with me for a week, for a year, for the entire almost 4 years I've been floss tubing. I am just so grateful to have you here. So thank you. Alrighty, I am still pulling out my Christmas sweaters. This one, see, all the cute stuff's at the bottom. These have snowmen on the bottom. I think we're getting into kind of wintry now, and they're more trees and snowflakes. So we'll see if I can stay on the ball. You might see some even heading into January. I gotta wear them because this is the only time of year I wear them. So got to pull them out as best I can. What do I have? I have 11 projects for you today. This week I did not, as far as I can tell, looking at my list, I have no starts and I have no finishes. I just kind of steady working. So that's a lot of fun, try to get some progress on my projects. I did put out an extra video this week. I was traveling over the weekend-ish part and part of the beginning of the week. So I didn't get this one out as soon as I would have liked to because, I know I have Friday videos. So I really like to do extras Mondays or Tuesdays. This one didn't go up until Wednesday. If you're interested, it is it's Flossmas number 3. And what I did was I pulled out my finishes drawer and I forgot a couple of recent finishes, but for the most part, I took all of my finishes and I took them all out and we talked about them. And I talked about some of my goals for fully finishing. If you're new, one of my goals for 2024 is to fully finish 55 projects in my 55th year, because I'll turn 55 next year. So I thought that was kind of fun because I counted them afterwards. I didn't count them in the video, and I did count the couple extra that I forgot that were recent ones that were not in the drawer, and I have 68 pieces. Here I was worried that I wouldn't have 55. And that's counting the tiny Modernist calendar as one. I have 68 pieces to fully finish. So and anything I'll work on and potentially fully finish for next year is also fair game, and that includes bigs to smalls. I can fully finish a trading card, and that will count as a full finish because it is. So if you're interested and would like to see a bunch of my old projects that I have stitched, it's the video right before this one. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you who checked it out and all your lovely comments. Thank you so much. Alrighty, I do have at least one more, before my project parade, I have one more Flossmas video. We're going to take a look at maybe what's going to get stitched next year. New projects, that is. Alrighty, so let's just jump into what's current projects at the moment, though, because like I said, we have several different ones to work on or talk about, and some of them, I'd say maybe until the end of the year, and then they go away for a little bit. And when we start the new year, we pull out some different projects. So this one right here, I've been trying to focus on as we, lead up to Christmas. I am not a seasonal stitcher. I don't care if I stitch Christmas in April. To be honest with you, I could stitch, summer in the winter, which I frequently do. To be honest with you, my snow day stitch is a summer piece. But, sometimes it's fun to kind of give them some extra stitches and some focus in the season. I did take this one traveling with me, and I had a day of some hotel downtime, and so I was working on this one for part of that time. And that is Prairie Schooler, Christmas Eve. And I'm going to scooch over here a little bit so I can show you. So that's what it looks like. I'm going to pull this a little bit more so that we get just what I've stitched. And, oops. This is only video 196, right? So there we go. Isn't that fun? I really like that a lot. I had started this on an opal, but the blue opal it was on, the opal was shining weird. The colors were not looking great on it. So I restarted it on this 18 count Chinchilla from Mystic Fabrics. And I love this. Look at this. Look at the color of this fabric. Isn't that beautiful? And I really like how the white shows on. Now, again, I always say that, you know, when I'm showing you these are the 18 counts. So I don't know what other counts would look like. But look at how lovely the white looks on that. And if you were looking for a fun gray for the new Cottage Garden sampling series, and this is what 18 count looks like, I think that would be nice. I have liked both the houses. I see she's released the castle #2. I don't have either one yet. Well, I don't think you can buy the castle yet, but I do plan on stitching both of those at some point. I like the idea of them being maybe on something like this gray, but I have a few other ideas, and I might go way out in left field on fabric colors for those, at least those two. And then if I like it, maybe whatever I choose in that series, I kind of go in that direction rather than kind of the traditional, you know, direction that's listed there. But we'll see. Santa just has a slight change in face color, and in the description box below, I will give that to you. All my Prairie Schooler Santas get a little bit of a change, and it's never the same one. Well, I shouldn't say never. Where's my Prairie Schoolers? If they're on, for example, Jade, all of those have the same exact change. Although no, I think there was one that the clothes around it didn't show properly. But depending on the background fabric is what helps me choose what color Santa's face will be. That's really the only change though in floss colors. And then I am not going to stitch the words down here. This is going to be solid snow. And I focused a lot on, it's time to start getting the reindeer in. So we have reindeer here, and then there'll be another one here. So we did more of the reins, I guess you'd call them reins, right? And then the reindeer, I may have done some more snow. I'm not 100% sure. I was in the hotel lobby, so, you know, there's people cleaning and there's doing this and that. And I just plugged in my iPad, put on a movie. I think it was a Hallmark movie, my headphones, and I just spent a couple hours working on this. So that's where it is. So I wouldn't be surprised, maybe Christmas Eve, because it's called Christmas Eve, I'll pull this one out. I'll probably talk about it in life, but Christmas is going to be really, really quiet and simple for us this year, which I'm not complaining about. So I should get some stitching time in both Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, which is kind of nice. Okay, so next. Did I bring this one with me? I can't remember now. I brought way more than I stitched on. Of course, I don't know if I overpack as well. I mean, I always overpack. I bring twice as many clothes as I need. Generally, an extra pair of shoes or two, because I never know what shoes, and most definitely stitching. So this probably came with me, although I'm not sure. Oops, there we go. I'm not sure I stitched it while I was there. But this is Librarian's House from Stone Street Stitch. That's what it looks like. Mine is got the introduction of some denim-ish blue in among, and then it's a navy blue for the border. And when you get to the house is also going to be denim-ish blue, but I haven't gotten there yet. So, oh no. Oh, you know what? That's just the chart with the DMCs in it. So I'm okay. Okay. Let's try not to get anything else to fall over. All right, here we go. This is done on 18 count Darling David from Those Missing Stitches. Isn't it beautiful? So, oh no, yeah, I'll wait because I use this again later on, so maybe then I'll talk about it. Let's talk about this piece right here. This was a stitch along that I started with Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher. It's called hashtag is librariansamplersal, S-A-L. And these are stitch alongs, start alongs, whatever you want. I think Beth is pretty, She's pretty casual with them too. There's no rules, at least not on my end. And I think Beth's cool with it too. You start it with us, you maybe start it later, you maybe do only stitch part of it. You know, I mean, I love, one of my favorite parts of this, and the first reason I saw it was I love that plant right there, especially if you can see I've put the denim blue in there, and I love those colors together. So, you know, maybe stitch a part of it. That's still cool. Cool by me. Hashtag librariansamplersal. And what else am I changing? I think that's part of what's going slow. I did change, and you'll see I started to do some more border. The little bird is super cute. She stuck a couple birds on the border. I did change the color of that. I finished up all of the elements down here. So except for what's left on the border, all of the inner elements there up to the house are done. And this got some more work. The house got some more work. You can see I'm almost done with that section. And like I said, I believe the denim blue is gonna go in the house. So that'll be fun. But this is really, really fun because there's so many little wins, you know, like little finishes that you get, that it makes it really nice to stitch. And Stone Street Stitch, I am a fan. I really do enjoy the patterns from them. Alrighty, I guess we'll just put that there, and I'll worry about the stuff later on. Okay, move this back that way because I need to get back to my iPad. This one did not get as much time as I was hoping. I did not bring it with me to Connecticut. I don't bring full coverage projects with me. Too much stuff to do. I am so admiring of those who do travel with full coverage. That's amazing. This is Hidden Harbor, and it is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs, which currently, as of today, the 22nd of December, I believe I got an email said they have a Christmas sale going on right now. So if you're interested, this is charted by Andy Russell, and it's just the regular sized whatever was the original. I don't even know if there's anything like minis on these. This one's kind of an in-between size, which is kind of cool. So as usual, could I decide what I was doing? Not necessarily. That's it as a whole. That's the width of it. After I talked to you, I did a little bit more work here, and then I went away. And when I came back, I said, I'm going to go back to this section. So I think I talked about, sometimes, I don't know if the rest of you do this, like, when you have to say things, like, for example, I'm doing it for videos, or if I have to do a talk, or back in the day, I mean, or when I was teaching, and I used to practice saying things, so then I don't necessarily know if I said it or not, or if I didn't. But when I started this, so I'm repeating myself potentially, because I might have said this last week, or I might have just said it in my head. But when I started this one, it was fairly new in my full coverage journey, and I was even more willy-nilly than I am now. Now, it doesn't necessarily make sense to you, but to me in my brain, it does make sense. And so you can see, especially as we get down here, the confetti is definitely, I don't mind jumping, and I don't complete a square as I go, but I got a little extreme over here. So what I started to do was I came back over here because I figured I can figure this out. And I started to fill in some confetti and start working my way down. And I think that's what I will continue to do, and kind of get myself down to this direction. And hopefully, you know, if other colors from here show up here, then I'll kind of migrate over here. As you can see, I don't stitch in a hoop or a Q-snap. I stitch in hand. So that makes it where I can just go crazy and go wherever I want. I did have a pretty big, well, it was big enough for me, mistake over here, and I had misstitched something, and that was over 2 pages. And yes, I still do paper. I have markup. Have I put the things in markup? No, but I have it. And it was funny because I had to go somewhere yesterday when I noticed it, and I said, I'm not leaving. I am not leaving until I fix it, because I'll totally forget about it. And then when I go to try to stitch, it would be a mess. So I was only about 5 minutes late to my needlework group, but I did end up fixing that area. So everything is correct now. And I didn't have, once I understood it, I didn't have too much to have to redo. I did pull some stitches out though, because sometimes I fudge it. If there's a stitch or two, I'll just switch the two next if I count one over wrong for one. But when I had a whole section and it was easy enough to pull out, it was, you know, it was over here and it was on its own. So I said, I'm pulling it out. I stitched my full coverages on 18 count white aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. And for now, I like that. We'll see. I did get myself, and I am practicing. You'll see my 20 count aida piece in a minute. I like the 20 count with the 1 strand. So maybe if I want to make a full coverage a tiny bit smaller, I have a piece of 25, thank you, Paula, that a scrap that I can practice on. So maybe I'm going to try something small on that piece. And then if I like it, you know, maybe I even go up to 25. I wouldn't go any farther than that. my eyes would say, nope, not happening. But, so this one didn't get a lot of work this week, and I'm not ready quite yet to give it up. So I will continue working on that probably through the end of this year. I may pull in another full coverage. I have one, excuse me, in the back of my mind. I have a drink of tea. Once I start talking, I get tickles in my throat. I have another one that I have in my mind, back of my mind, that I might start, and that I can do like some blocks of color with, which is what I might do. So you may see more than one next week. We'll see. So this one, I feel like I'm fooling myself saying I can finish it. I'd have to do almost exclusive on this, and you know that I really don't have the attention span for finishing something all the way through the end, like nonstop. I really do admire those who really have that discipline and attention span. I don't. This is, oh gosh, today the light is a little, there we go, that's better. This is Autumn Quaker from Jardin Prive. It is the last of the 4 in this series that I'm stitching, all done with DMC 823. And here I am. That's what it looks like. It's, let's see. Oh, there you go. That's peachier. Apparently on this side, the sun's shining different, or the light's coming in differently, but that's what it looks like. This is 18 count soft peach from To Dye For Fabrics. Isn't it pretty? So each of the 4, and if you saw the video of my finishes, you would have seen the other 3, have kind of brightish in a way without being over the top, I feel. Maybe some of you think I went over the top of the colors of the season. So this one's got the peach. I didn't want to go like blaring orange. I thought this peach one was a lot of fun. And this is the bottom right here. I know I've gotten to the bottom, but I still have to finish this element. Up here's potentially got the year. I'm not sure I'm going to do that. So this element's got all those little X's have to go all the way around. Plus I have to finish. And then look at that big house, which has a lot of stitching. So even though you look at it and you say, oh, that's it, and today is the 22nd, I have, what, 9 days? I don't think it's going to happen. It was originally a goal to, I started them in 2022 to have all 4 of them finished. In 2022, this wasn't the goal, but as I've been working on them, I was eyeing 2023 as the full finish of the 4 of them. If I, in the most likely event I don't, I'll keep this out and keep working on it, because I am not starting Autumn Quaker from Lila Studio until this is done. That is my mantra there, what I'm telling myself. So we'll see. It is a lot of fun. You can stitch them all 4 in one large piece, and the chart does give you dimensions for your fabric pieces, and you know, they give suggestion for the floss, but you can do whatever you want, really. You could do a full monochromatic, I suppose, if you wanted to. You know what, I'm gonna put this over here. Alrighty, what's next? This one is only a December piece because I keep working on these in the course of their month. This is December's Holly from Cottage Garden Samplings. And any hope I had of fully finishing this went out the window, because I lost, well, I didn't lose. It's in a safe place somewhere. the variegated thread that I'm doing the words in. So ignore these letters. These letters have to come out. But I pulled out DMC 115 to try with the letters, and I liked it. And so I'm like, cool, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I know last time I did this, I showed you this, when I went to iron it, and I ironed downstairs, up here in the craft room, it was upstairs, I had pulled extra threads, you know, because you pull out. Those had fallen out into the room. And after I had brought up my stuff upstairs, later on, Mo said, oh, what is this? And I said, oh, I need that. And I don't know. So I know I put that somewhere. I can't even find that. And then, okay, I couldn't find that when I went to stitch this week. And I said, well, I'll just pull out some more. That no biggie. I can't find the 115 skein either. So clearly they're in either one really safe place together, or they're in two safe places, which really means I'm never going to find it. So instead, I decided I am coming over to this side and I'm working on the holly. So that's what I did. There are a couple different greens, and I believe, as much as I can remember, I'm keeping all of those colors the same. This is 18 count Honeydew Melon from To Dye For fabric. And I thought it was a lot of fun with the greens on it and the red. I thought it kind of looked really nice. So I have one more week. Well, really one more week, right? Because next time I see you, we're heading up into the end of the year. So I will do a look for that floss. I might do some more on it. I might just write it off and say that at this point, it's not getting done this year anyway. We'll see. And then in January, I'll pull out the January one. That one, I'm almost sure January is the farthest one along. We'll see when I do my project parade. That is the best one of hopes of getting finished next year. I'm determined to get at least one of them finished next year. I can guarantee they won't all be. Okay, next. So this is my piece that I did on 20 count. So I'm going to show you the full piece first. This is, it was Happy Mood Point. On Etsy, they're now known as Daily Pattern Stitch, I believe. So this was the full piece. Connor is, I've said this before, Connor is our plant whisperer in the house. So I decided for them to do for them a ornament of a plant. Now, take out that metal plant stand in your mind. That's not going to be there. And it's super easy. Wherever that part is, I'll just do the design in the, in the pot here, and that should be fine. So that piece right there, that part of it is going to be the ornament. And it's been fun so far. This is being done on 20 count. I'm going to go this way because the light with the white, it'll really blow out. I can hold it like that, actually. This is 20 count white Aida, and I am doing one strand of DMC with it. And I am almost there. Right now, we're just doing the pot, the plant pot, and then it'll be done. Now, it's a decent size. It probably will come down a little bit here. I have no idea what the full finish is going to look like, but I could get this one, if I could get this stitched fully, what's today? Friday. So if I stitch on it today and I stitch on it tomorrow, I might be able to fully finish this on Sunday to have it ready for Connor for Christmas. If not, I'll just show the stitched piece and say it's coming. I don't think Connor will mind all that much. So it's been fun, and I've liked the 20 count experiment, I have to say. I think I might pick up, because it's kind of a good catch-all color, Vintage Country Mocha in 20 count, because it might be fun to do some different things, especially like trading cards or things like that sometimes in a 20 count. And like I said, the Vintage Country is kind of it's a catch-all, right? You can use it for so many different things. Alrighty. What's next? Oh, here we go. Here's my gnomes. I did bring this one to Connecticut, and I only stitched on it for a little bit while I was there because I just wasn't able to settle. I am working on, let's flip this way. Let's hope this isn't what they give as a thumbnail this time around, because it was last week's thumbnail. I'm working on that one. I'm not doing the back circle, square, and the grounding circle. And look at this. Isn't that pretty? I don't know if you can see the sparkle. It's done on an 18 count opal. It's called Hourglass Nebula from Fortnight Fabrics. And you may not notice. So I was doing some work down here. I finished up. The only thing on the flower left is the very center. Everything else in the flower is done. I was doing some more stuff around there. And then I decided, and I think I finished over here. I decided to go back up because I was trying to decide around here, what did I want to do? And I kept saying, well, I keep climbing up to see where that symbol starts. I did quite a bit of fill-in. You're not going to necessarily notice it because it's done now and the outer lines were done, but I went back with, there was 2 different colors and I did quite a bit of fill-in. So from here up is now completely done. And now it'll make more sense working my way down. We're at a page break somewhere around here. So that's why trying to figure out where some of these symbols started, it was getting a little frustrating. So I said, let's back up, literally, right? And go up and then work my way down. So this one will get work through the, I was gonna say through the summer, maybe, through the winter, just when I feel like bringing it out. I like the colors. It's fun to stitch, so I could definitely see having it come out. And maybe it fits a prompt somewhere for any of the games I'm working on. Categories is coming back to it Warriors next year. There's a couple changes in the categories, but most of the categories I think are going to stay the same. So it'll be fun to see what changes they make too. I never got books, movies, TV, or music. I don't think I ever did any of those categories because I just wasn't good enough to make the connections. Okay, this go around for this week of my 3-piece rotation. It is Summer Quaker. So that's what it'll look like. It's Lila Studio. And no, I don't have Autumn Quaker yet, but it is, I had tried to buy it at one point from 123 and they didn't have it in stock. So, all right, let me show you the full piece first, and then we will hone in on what I worked on. So that's what I'm at. And what is super, super exciting, except for, so you see this border here that goes diagonal, that will start right here. So I am basically literally on the top edge and I finished the bottom corner. So then I am at 3 of the 4 corners. Super exciting. I could totally see working my way down here and then doing the center at the end. My focus this week, did I do anything down here? No, I don't think so. It was all up here. This was intensive. I have been working on that for a few sessions now, you know, the weekly rotations. It is finally done. We've got the fish in and we started the next element here. And I was, if I'm looking at it, yeah, so this is the very last piece of that Quaker before that diagonal border starts. I wanted to get to that. And there's some fun color here, a lot of the coral colors that work their way in after that diagonal border. I don't know if you can see over there. So I think, I know I have to do, I don't know if it's a sand out. I have something over here to do. But I think I might come here and work with that next. But I love this. This is 18 count Nantucket Sky by Fabrics by Stephanie. And there it is. I just have to show it again. I am super excited. So this will stay in a rotation. I will add fish and chips into that. So maybe what I'll do, I don't know. Maybe what I'll do is for a month, I'll pick one of them and do a strand a day. And then the other 3 will be in a 3-person rotation. And then I'll rotate which one gets the strand a day. 3-project rotation. I don't know. We'll see. Because I'd like to, I've really seen some good progress, especially on this one. Well, Black Vintage Sampler too, which you will see next week. That's the new one in the rotation. I've seen some good progress and I really don't want to, I don't want to let that slip. Like I said, I do want to start autumn, but I'd really like to have a good amount locked down on these spring and summer first. All right. this might have been Friday. It was either Friday or Saturday. We hadn't left yet, and I decided just to hunker down for a bit and work on my Wizard of Oz tree from Tiny Modernist. It's so fun. I love this. I love how fun it is. And I got almost 500 stitches on this. I was just working away. And here we go. This one's another Opal. It is Opal, 18 count Opal Blue Ice from To Die For Fabrics. I love this one. The colors just look, this fabric, the colors just pop on it. So I first started off, I needed just something easy, I think brain-wise. So I finished off here, and I actually started, this starts kind of the base of the tree, so to speak. And each side you have the stockings of the witch and then the slippers. And then underneath you have the Emerald City with the rainbow. And I started that, but then I said, maybe I'll go back and do some more. These two leaves I worked on, and these leaves, it's two different colors, but you really do have to count and pay attention. So I was in the right frame of mind by that point that I did get those done. So except for, you see these little flowers here? I have to do that there. And then here I'll have to do one, and then I'll have to do a leaf down here. And then over here, I've got the leaves this way. I'll just have, once I extend this, then I'll have the 2 more leaves. So I have 3 leaves left. I'm really kind of counting down to those. And then I wasn't really in the frame to do that. Plus, I needed to count off of something. So you can see here, the 2 little ones there, I have their heads. So we have kind of floating heads. So it's getting there. But it was definitely a good chunk. I really liked the time spent on this one. There's some backstitch that hasn't been stitched yet. I'll do that at the end and just go back and work on that. So yeah, so that's been fun. Alrighty, I'm kind of cognizant of the time because I know my videos have been, Flossmas and regular have been long lately, and I know you have so much to do, so I'm going to see this time around. I mean, if I can come in at an hour, that's still long enough, right? But it would be shorter for me. This one I did bring to Connecticut with me, and so Autumn Quaker, I stitched some before we went, and then it was my car stitch for part of the ride up to Connecticut because Mo drove. And then partway through, I switched out and I pulled out this one because I was done from here up. And so I thought, oh, wouldn't this be great for car stitching? You know, I mean, just pick a color and kind of go for it. So that's what I was doing there. This is Harvest Star Tea, So Much to Love on Etsy. And it is, I want to say Michelle Palmer Designs is who designed it. And look at the cute little bird. I love the charting on this. It's so pretty. This is done on an 18 count Ocean Air from Fox and Rabbit. And I know it doesn't look like a ton. This is a nice chunk. There's over 300 stitches there. I am working on a event in Whip Warriors called Holiday Feast. And so it's a counting your stitches. Sometimes they let you count hours, and 1 hour they designate as 100 stitches. I can't remember if this one is both. You can do time or stitches. I count, so that's fun. So this right here, we've got the main element plus a little bit of that green, and then I can't wait. I love the little contrasting green color. So once that's done, then all I have is the teacup. Yes, I kind of cut it tight here, so it's probably going to come down to here, which I mean, normally wouldn't mind, but because the selvage is definitely not being kept, it'll be scrapbooked, so it'll be fine. I'm not worried about it. I know I have 2 of these that I bought. I could see them being in one spread, multi-pieces. I could see that happening, so we'll see. So that one wouldn't get scrapbooked right away until I finish stitching the other one. But I really do enjoy, if you've thought about them, I originally saw them on Kathy. Let me put down Kathy's name so I know. Crafty Cat Stitcher, I believe, is Kathy's Flosstube. So much fun. I always love watching Kathy. I originally saw one on there. I can't remember. I think the cup had polka dots, if I remember. And I immediately went over to the Etsy shop, and it's a series of 5. I picked 2 other ones from what Kathy is doing, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to go back and do more. And I'm really, really enjoying it. And like I said, the charting of the bird, I'm sure they're all going to be like that. I don't know if the birds are the same color necessarily. Coloring, maybe, but that's fine, because that would even make them both on the same page even work better, because then it would be definitely cohesive. All right, the last piece is Blue Rhapsody. So I mentioned Beth before, and I didn't mention, because you know it's not in my notes, I forgot to put it, but not only is Librarian's House Beth and I stitching together as a stitch along, Summer Quaker, hashtag Summer by the Shore stitch along, SAL. I started with Beth on first day of summer, and then Beth's birthday was just a tiny bit ago, maybe a week ago. And for her birthday, she asked if anybody wanted to stitch Rosewood Manor pieces. It's hashtag rosewoodmanorbdaysal. And I said, yes, I've never done a Rosewood Manor, and I am loving it. And I picked Blue Rhapsody. I thought at one point, I've seen people change the colors on these, because it's really just 2 colors, right? But I like the blue, and I decided that that's what we were going to go with. And you know what? I'm going to fold this over, because I don't have a ton. But look, I am really super excited. When you saw it, all I had was this corner and part of this line. I ended up stitching all of this over here, down here, and I've got 2 of the letters. The letters are an easy stitch. I think I stitched some of this in the hotel, actually. I did bring this one with me. And it is so much fun. This is being done, this is an 18 count. It's Darling David again from Those Missing Stitches. Now, what's really interesting and fun, I'm going to show you, because this happens. I'm not upset about it in the least, so please don't think I am. I really am enjoying. These are both 18 count, and they're both Darling David. But you can see one is darker than the other. For my purposes, that came out perfectly. But it does go to show sometimes, and I've had that happen with other hand dyers too. You get one and maybe a process changed. Maybe the weather's different. I know that affects, from what I hear, dyers will say that affects it and affects the colors and stuff. So this one works perfectly as a darker one. And then when I ordered Darling David again, I didn't have anything in mind with it. I just love this fabric. This is, you can see it's more mottled, it's darker, so on and so forth. Then this one came and it was lighter, but it's perfect for Blue Rhapsody, because I wouldn't want the Blue Rhapsody on that darker one. I actually adore it on this lighter color. Look how pretty that's going to look. It's going to be just enough to play off the blues. So it was such a happy circumstance that they are slightly different, because I don't think I would have used the darker one, and then I wouldn't be sure what I'm going to do. Now, I believe Those Missing Stitches is currently on vacation. I know I've used up my 2, I've dug into my 2 Darling Davids now. I do want to buy another piece, and I'm so curious, because I'm thinking possibly of doing Lila Studios Autumn Quaker on this. I think whether it comes to me lighter or darker, I think it would be beautiful. I've also considered, I'd have to get some more of this, and I think To Dye for Fabrics is also on vacation right now. I get it. Good thing I have a lot of fabric, because otherwise I'd be upset I need my fabrics. No. Enjoy your vacations and your time off. You deserve it. This is hard work to do hand dyeing. This would be another option. This is the Soft Peach, again, 18 count. What I would end up doing, when I finally have the pattern, I'm going to get the flosses and I'll do a floss toss. But I may end up, getting this. I think as ordered would be big enough. I have to look and see. This one I might have to get a little bit bigger, but it's a fun color, so I could see using it for other things if I don't use it for Autumn Quaker. But that is a thought. I don't know, for those of you looking at Autumn Quaker, what your thoughts are starting it. Without getting the flosses, I don't really know yet. But I don't see myself putting this away yet. I've really enjoyed stitching it. Like I said, it's my first Rosewood Manor. A wonderful, generous person had sent me several of them, and so I'm so looking forward to. I could see having a Rosewood Manor in my rotation for quite some time, because, and more than one, I'd say, because I don't necessarily see finishing one and starting one, you know, kind of like that tissue box idea where you finish one and then you pull another one out. I know that's for series, but you know what I'm saying. I could definitely see multiples in these, and I just think it's so pretty. So I will be mentioning Beth's birthday stitch along for a long time to come, I think. And hey, I think if you wanted to start at any time, you could still start. Go for it. Or pull out. I'm sure you could just pull out one you already have and work on it that way. So that's my stitching plans. So like I said, this, I think the event goes until the Holiday Feast event for Whip Warriors, I believe, goes until the end of the year. It started on the 13th of December, and it takes it to the end. It's kind of cute. It's a cute idea. Basically, you create like an ideal meal for a holiday, and each section, whether it's a protein or veg or sides or desserts, they are all X amount of stitches. So you create how many stitches will be in your event. And I think mine is 1,600 stitches. So that's doable. The biggest thing is I was so upset with myself because I put in a bunch of stitches on this one and I forgot to take a before picture. And you obviously need to do before and after pictures for a lot of these events. And so that was a mistake on my part. I could have had 300 extra stitches on my feast, but that's okay. So yes, so that's my biggest downfall, is that I was thinking of doing the road trip through Whip Warriors. I read it. I think it's just a little too much. For example, in January, I want to do Bringo. I know Beth in her Facebook group does acrostics, plus the Whip Warrior. I think there's too much other stuff, so I am not going to do the road trip. I'll just stay in the main group. Whip Warriors has closed at this point. When they open up again next November, I'll let you know. I was also trying to think of maybe a couple of fun games to put in my Facebook group, but I don't want to kind of do the same old because there's plenty of people that you can work with that. So I'm thinking about it and seeing some things that I can do, and not every month, but just to throw some in if you're interested. And that way you could practice so you can see if something like Whip Warriors would work for you. So that's plans, is to finish my holiday feast stitching. I am going to do, I have a stitching planner already for my daily stitching and all of that and everything I do with that. I am also going to do a challenge / stitch along planner, plus anything else that goes with that kind of overview, because I don't have enough room. I have enough room in my regular stitching planner to put just the titles or basic things, but if I want to do more in depth, like for example with the stitch alongs, who am I stitching it with? Who started it? Am I co-hosting it? Am I just a member who's, you know, and if there's other people that I could list to tell you about that are stitching it as well, then so I need more info in that. So I am going to start trying to set up, I am not a bullet journaler. My planners are kind of just, they kind of change from year to year, although I do like my Commit 30 planner. Maybe what I'll do is when I do my project parade, I have a lot of projects. That might be too long to show you my 2 journals for my planners for 2024. We'll see. Maybe that's like a mini, I don't know. That could be like a mini little extra as we head into maybe like his first couple weeks in January or something. So I can show you what I happen to do. It'll be a learning experience, to be honest. So I do want to get that kind of set up though. I do have, these are the 25 prompts for Bringo. Bringo is part of the magazine monthly cross stitch challenge. That is a Facebook group that is run by Carolyn CZ Hook and Robin Hall, Bird's Eye Stitcher. I'm going to put down magazine monthly cross stitch challenge. I think it's MMCC info, and I'll put down both Carolyn and Robin have Flosstubes if you're interested. So I'm sure they'll be talking about it in that. And then Carolyn might have already, but I'm so far behind on Flosstubes that it'll be April before I'm in through the end of this year, especially once the Whip Parades start. So I've got that prep going, and then 2024 prep for what am I starting? Like, what are my starts? There's no set number. I can guarantee you whatever I show you in that next Flossmas video, I will start more than what's there because I don't know what's coming, right? And I reserve the right to see somebody stitch something and say, oh my goodness, I need to stitch that. So that will be, you know, kind of a rough, what am I stitching sort of Flossmas video. So those are the plans, plus just stitching, right? You know, well, I guess for my holiday feast, that kind of encompasses that. Black Vintage Sampler is the next one in the rotation, so you will see that, and I will do some more on Hidden Harbor. Everything else will be a surprise. Alrighty, Happy Mail. I got 2 lovely cards this week, and the first one, Debbie. It's adorable. I love this. So there are just layers of die cuts onto this, and it's beautiful. That's going up on the shelf. I can't do this backwards, right there. As soon as the video's done. And that's beautiful, Debbie. Thank you. And then Teresa, I got this one in. Oh, isn't this beautiful? And that's a picture, which is so lovely. Before I started doing, well, before we had kids, I would actually hand stamp Christmas cards that we sent out when we were married. That's a lot of work. That didn't last long. Well, we weren't married too long anyway. I don't remember how many Christmases we had before we had Megan. And in the beginning, what I would do was I would take a photo and then I would do all of the layering and design the card. And that probably, I know I had Connor as well before I went to the, you know, plug and play the pictures into like a Walgreens or CVS or whatever you use, right? But for several years, I would take a picture and then design around it. I'll have to show you. I know I have a notebook that has, I kept a list from year to year of Christmas cards, you know, who did we send to, who sent to us, just so I don't miss, you know, I didn't miss out on people and make sure I remembered from year to year, because that's too long, especially when you have small children, right? And I kept almost every year. I think I started this once we got married. So we were married 24 years. So I don't think I have a few that I handmade in the beginning, but as we got going with the kids, I have. And I might have a few that I did mostly hand make myself. So if I think of it, maybe I'll show you. That would be fun. Okay. So that was the Happy Mail, and I loved it. Super, super excited. And, oh, let me see if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Shopping. I forgot to put this on my list. And I'm just going to put a note, because if you were interested on the Etsy shop, I'm going to put a link to it. Okay, I don't know. Somebody is making something downstairs. I don't know if it's Mo or Connor. So if the clanking's going on, just ignore it. Speaking of which, so Mo, you know, Mo and I, we've talked about this. We don't necessarily exchange big gifts. We kind of do, we get what we want, right? And then last year I did make him an ornament. This year I'm barely able to get the kids' ornaments done. So he's not getting an ornament this year. But he had to get, or he got, I don't know if had to is the word, but for Christmas, basically, he got a new iPad. And he got a iPad cover that's very similar to mine. This thing is thick. So I ended up, yes, I bought a couple of Fourth Wing stickers. And so, yes, I have Fourth Wing stickers on here because we both got the same color. But I thought it would be a lot of fun if he wanted to stick a sticker on there. So look what I found. Isn't that adorable? And look at how cute, because it's the same exact. Look how cute that would look at the bottom there. So, shh, he doesn't watch my videos, so he'll never know. So it's a teeny tiny little thing just because that I got for him. And let me see, what was the name of it? They had some really fun ones, and it's really good quality sticker, I have to say. I don't have the printing ability, plus I don't want to go through my ink that fast. I go through enough ink just printing off all of my digital copies and working copies, because I make copies of them because our printer is a copier as well. Hearth and Harrow on Etsy. And, oh, they're out of Maine, Rockport, Maine. So I will put the link in the description box if you wanted to check out the Etsy shop you know, obviously a little late for Christmas now, but you know, if you were looking to add something to your phone case or your laptop, or in my case, no pun intended, the iPad case, right? So that was a little bit of shopping. And then I wanted to show you this because I got a great tip. So I knew I was traveling, and I knew the hotel light was awful. So I had asked, if, I don't know how many videos ago, about lighting and travel lighting, and I got some wonderful answers from people. And I didn't shop fast enough. So the ones that were recommended, like little ones, were not in stock when I went to go shop. So, and of course this was right before, you know, not that many days before we were leaving for Connecticut. So I said, Staples always, we have a Staples down here, but they also ship really fast, and we have the rewards program, so it's free shipping. So I went and I looked there, and I found this Stitch Connect. I ended up getting this, and it's just a cute little flip up. It flips. Look at how thin it was, because it fits in this box, obviously, so it's flipped. And I just brought it in this box. It has 3 different levels of light, you know, like the yellowish one, the combo, and kind of that blue whitey one. And it worked really well. And it's got the cord, so you can plug into a USB port because it's rechargeable. And it was under $20, I think. So I said, you know what, this is good. This will work. But I have to say, thank you to Barb. Barb is a genius. When she had sent me an email about different recommendations of lights, she had said when she goes traveling and she's in a hotel, she takes the top off the ice bucket, flips it over, and sticks the light on it. It's genius, because this on the table itself, it would be right in front of me, which would be fine, but by lifting it up, I was kind of below the light, and it encompassed the light so much better. And I mean, then I can angle this too, because it can go flip up, higher up or down or whatever. But Barb, you are a genius. And I did mention that it was all set up, and Mo took a picture of me in the hotel with all my stitching set up. And I did put it on the Facebook page just to give an example. And it was awesome. So if you are in a hotel, go hunt for the ice bucket, flip it over, and even if you don't have a travel light, maybe their light, the lights that are the one where we stayed, they're kind of clunky, and it's one that, you know, you think you can move the head and you can't. I don't know if it would have been top heavy. It might have fallen over, but this was perfect. So I had to show you that, plus Barb's tip. That was actually the better part than this right here, to be honest, because you can use it with any of those small lights. Then I also got, so in talking about what I want to do for my planner, so I ended up, I didn't need necessarily anything big, but I wanted something a little fun and pretty. So this might be might be almost a 5x7. I was going to say an A5, but it's bigger than an A5. Might be a 5x7. And there are dots. I don't know if you can tell, but there's so many like bullet journals and this, that, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money. This I think was maybe $10. I'm not even sure. No more than that, really. And I think this is what I'm going to use. And then I love pens. I used to love going back to school shopping for the kids because I love going to office supply stores. So I ended up, and I use these for my stitching planner as it is, my Commit 30. And because I wanted things pretty and this, that, and the other, I have this set. This is 0.5 millimeters. So I just got that. The Papermate Ink Joy gels are my favorites. I love how they write. If you were to write and then immediately put your hand over it, yes, they would smudge, but give it 10 seconds and they don't smudge and they don't go through my papers. So I got those, but you know, because I wanted to make it pretty, these are 0.7, so they're a medium point versus the fine point, and I got the big set. This is 22 of all the different colors. It's the same thing with Sharpies. I always get like the big set of Sharpies, because if you could see my notes, there's like 5 different colors of Sharpies where I make my notes and everything. So I ended up getting my fine and medium point pens, plus this journal. And so now I'm going down the rabbit hole because, you know, I'm not behind on Flosstubes enough, right? I'm now going down the bullet journal planner rabbit hole on YouTube. If you have a favorite, send one my way because, you know, I'm going down this rabbit hole whether you give me names or not. So I'd love to know who you like and recommend. And a lot of them use Tombow markers for like kind of the pretty coloring. I used to have Tombows. I used to have a bunch of Tombows, and then I got rid of them when I moved. So I do have, I don't know if it's Copic or Copic. I have those. I have to look on the, see, not all of them are brush, but I'm looking at some of them are brush. And then there's another brand, but those aren't brush at all. So I'm going to look at some of the brush ones that I have of the, I'm going to say Copic. I don't know which one it is. And I don't know if I use a light color, maybe it won't go through. I don't think this was the thickest of the, I know there was another thickness level that the pages might have been able to be. And I think I went a thickness below. So we'll see if those markers would go through. But that might be, I might be able to pull some of those out because I used those for coloring when I was stamping and I just don't do that much anymore. So they're just sitting there in that lovely little case with nothing to do. So we will see on that. But yes, if you have any favorite supplies, if you have any favorite YouTubers, please send them my way because I'm doing this thing whether I want to or not. Alrighty, what else? Oh, I almost forgot. So this, I would say, it's kind of happy mail because I was actually gifted it. It would have been shopping. If I hadn't been gifted it, I would have bought it. But if you watch, well, I watch Gail, Wombat Hollow Crafts. I'm going to put Gail's name now. And Gail and, I never say it right, Devonali Designs. I think it's Nicole. Don't quote me on that. My brain's not working this morning. I started this video 6 times before I could get going. My mouth was just stumbling. I'm going to say Nicole, and I apologize profusely if that's not your name. But Gail and Nicole are starting a stitch along for 2024. I think it starts January 26th. I'll have to look. If you follow either one of them on Instagram, Devonali Designs, Wombat Hollow Crafts. Wombat Hollow? I think that's a Gail. All their information is there about the stitch along. And so they're hosting the stitch along through Vivsters, which is an Etsy shop. And originally I had seen Gail show, I think it was the Australian flag. And so they were going to stitch. So Vivsters had, and at the time she only had maybe three Quaker flags. And they were nice, long rectangular flags. And might have been Australia, New Zealand, and United States. I'm thinking that might have been what it is, but don't quote me on that. And Gail showed this. I said, oh my gosh, I love that. I would really like to participate and see what the US flag looks like. And I bought from Vivsters before, long time ago. It's like a full coverage, so I still haven't started it. Maybe next year, we'll see. And so I went to look at the US flag, and the US flag was squared off, and I was so disappointed. So then I said, could I extend it? Because I want to say it's something like the US flag was something like 220 by 220 stitch count versus the other two flags were these beautiful rectangles. They were like 220 by 440. I don't know. I'm throwing numbers out there, but you get the point. It was a nice rectangle. And I said, could I just extend it? Now I'm not a chart designer. I wish I had that kind of ability. But I probably could fudge it, especially if I looked at how Australia or New Zealand was set up, lengthwise and how many extra boxes I need and so on. And I probably could try to repeat Quakers or something. But what I did was I reached out to Vivsters, I think it's Vivian, Viv, and I said to her, I'm really interested in participating. I love the US flag. Do you think I am capable of extending it somehow or other? Like, how would that work? Because I would like to buy it, but I want to make sure I can do this thing. And Viv came back and sent me an email and very lovely said, originally I don't know if she knew. From whatever picture she had used, she had more of a square. And she said, I'm not sure why it wasn't rectangle, but I made it rectangle. I added the rectangle, and anybody who had bought the square, I think if you go back to her, she'll send you the files for the rectangle. And she said, because it was your idea, I'm going to send you the rectangle for free, which was such a generous, lovely thing to do. And this is what the US flag looks like. Isn't that beautiful? I am loving Quakers. I love, the more I stitch them, I'm loving that kind of style. And I just thought this was beautiful. I have no idea what fabric I'm going to use. I know a lot of people do One Nation, which is kind of the same idea with the states and the stars, on kind of this kind of color, like a neutral, you know, vintage country or some sort of beigey, kind of brownish beigey neutral. I'm not sure I want to do that, but where I want to go with it then, I don't know. Obviously, I want the white to pop. The white is surrounded by outline, but I still want it to pop, right? So I'm going to have a think about it, but they're not starting this till the end of January. So there's a lot of time. What's cool is, in the meantime, does it say? Yeah, Vivian. Yep, Vivian's. In the meantime, oh, this is not going to show. And all the others have white backgrounds, so it's a little easier to see the flag. She has created, as people request different countries, she has created a whole bunch of flags. I think when I went there, it said there was 22 options. And she also stitched, designed, and I don't know if it's here, a black work one. So if you didn't want to do a specific flag, no, I don't see it here. I just saw that released on Instagram, or saw it on Instagram. You have that option too. If you don't want to do a flag, but you want to do just a pretty rectangle black work. And then of course she has released Ireland, which, you know, given 3 of the 4 grandparents of my children are from Ireland, that would be kind of fun to do too. But I got to stitch the US flag first. I'm getting ahead of myself. So that was kind of, that would have been purchasing, and I forgot to show it to you a couple weeks ago when Viv had sent that email to me, and then it just kept going out of my head. But that was incredibly lovely of her. And go and check out the Stitch Along events and information. I think there's a Facebook group, but for some reason when I tried to join, I kept having to do my password, and I don't know the password of my Facebook off the top of my head because, you know, with all these yucky hackers, I've created crazy passwords for all of my sites. And so I always have to go and look and try to find it and see. So I wasn't able to join the Facebook group, but there is a Facebook group for it too, if you are interested. So that's that. A little bit of happy mail / shopping with that. Alrighty, giveaways. See, now I'm talking and we're at an hour and I still haven't finished. Okay, let's keep motoring along here. So for giveaway this week, I was giving away, I think it's called Give Greatly. Yep, from Silver Creek Samplers. And speaking of Debbie, who sent that beautiful card, Debbie had put in her comment about how actually she owns a bunny and bunnies love bananas. Who knew? So she was saying if she ever stitched it, she might change the carrot to a banana. You think it'd be very mushy. I don't know, maybe they like the mushy, because I guess if you put it in wherever. Do they have bowls? What do you do? I mean, you have this vision of like you feeding that. I mean, that's not, I'm sure, how they eat, if they were to eat the carrot. But yeah, just a little bunny trivia that I didn't know. Alrighty, so if I move the names around, I asked you to say the word carrot in your comment, and let me pull out a name. I have a whole bunch. One of these days I'm going to go with the comment picker. If I have multiple giveaways in a video, I might end up having to start doing that. Oh, you know what? I can use the back of this. Who won? Gina, I can't read my own writing. Gina Strickland. Congratulations. So if you could get back to me. Wait, let me double check my. Yes, Gina Strickland. I can't. Sometimes when I write fast, I can't read my own writing. Get back to me with your address and I will send the chart out to you. I'm going to put your name right in there. I never took this out of the bag actually, so it's nice and neat. Okay, so I thought this one was really cute. I was going through my patterns and I said, what could I do this week? And I know it's Santa, but you know what? There's always stitching for next year, right? You can start right away. This one is called Right After Delivery, and it's got Santa and 3 reindeer. I kind of think of them as doing like a conga line, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure if that's what it's supposed to be, but that's what I see in my head. From Twin Peak Primitives. And I just thought it was so cute. And when I see you next, Christmas will be over. Santa will have done all of his deliveries. And wouldn't that be fun? I could see it's cute here. It's stitched up and it's stitched and it's finished as a long pillow. I could see stitching Santa on his own, and he would be an adorable ornament. I don't know if I own this one as well. I'm not sure. Sometimes I buy 2 of things and, you know, one for you, one for me. And then I could see these 3 stitched on their own and making a cute little ornament. So if you didn't want to stitch them all together, I think that would be a great idea too. Now, because I think they're doing some sort of conga line dance, I'm going to ask you to say the word dance. I'm going to say they're dancing after delivery. They're done with the year's delivery, and so they're doing a little dance. So if you say the word dance, I will put your name for now in the blue bowl. Like I said, one day, I don't even know how Comment Picker works, but maybe one day, especially when there was a lot of people that wanted that Give Greatly chart. So I had a lot of names to write down. There's a lot of names in that bowl. But yes, so just say the word dance and I'll put your name in. All right. I almost got the stitching part done in an hour. So if you are heading out, thank you so much for being here. And I will wish you a wonderful week, whether you are celebrating or not. And so on and so forth. And if it's a little bit difficult, please, my thoughts are with you, because I know holidays sometimes can be the highest of highs or the lowest of lows. And I'm thinking of you, and my thoughts are with you if you are struggling at this time of year. You know, if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out. Sometimes I feel very inadequate to help just because I don't necessarily know what to do, but I'm here for you if you need me. All right. So that's it with the stitching. If you are here for life, I will try to keep this going here because I know you're busy. So we did, like I said, we went up to Connecticut. Connor was working on finals the end of last week, the beginning to middle of this week. And Connor wanted to bring down their car, which meant that's a long drive, to be honest with you. Especially, so Connor's on the drive from Worcester, because that's where he goes to school, Worcester, Massachusetts, to Connecticut, to my in-laws especially, multiple times. No problem. That's an easy drive. They've got that one down pat, no problem. But driving from Connecticut to Delaware, that's at least a 5-hour drive, and that's in the best of conditions. It can take you much longer than that if you hit traffic in multitude of places. Connecticut being the worst, I've got to say, the road system in Connecticut really needs some work. But especially down 84 by Danbury, that area. Just saying. Anyway, I know that because I got caught in it coming the way home on Tuesday. So we went up on Sunday. So Sunday was that really, really bad weather day, all the way up the coast from, I think it started in Florida, went all the way up, I think, to Maine, right? But it kind of worked its way up. And we started and left Delaware before it had started in Delaware, and we kept working our way up, beating it before it hit wherever we were. So we got to Connecticut before the bad weather started. And so I don't think the rain had started yet until like dinner time in Connecticut. Whereas at that point it was already getting worse in Delaware. So we went and we visited my mom. So for those of you who don't know, my mom is in a nursing home. And so we went, and I never tell her because I'm always not sure what day. And my mom suffers from dementia, so she wouldn't necessarily remember. And I don't want her to get agitated if she thinks it's a day and not. So it's always like, hi, Mom. So I shock her every time I show up. There is COVID outbreaks currently in the home. Luckily, my mom did, well, not luckily in the sense that she did get COVID, but she'd had her shots and they caught it right away. And so they put her on a protocol, and she, thank goodness, luckily is fine now. Except for really mind-wise, my mom is pretty healthy, health-wise. So, but, you know, obviously there's a lot going around, and we do not want to bring anything in if somebody is potentially struggling health-wise. So we did wear masks, which then also makes it a little difficult. I always worry visiting mom that way because, you know, when you see somebody only half their head, you don't necessarily always know who it is. So, but, you know, normally when I go, if the weather's nice, I always like to take my mom outside because they have a beautiful little courtyard area with flowers and this, that. But it was, at that point, it was cold. The rain hadn't started yet, but it had gotten very cold and windy. So instead of that, we brought her right out from the entrance area. There's a really nice lobby, and they had Christmas decorations up, and they have couches and things like that. So you can sit, you know, and visit with family members. So we brought her down there, which was really nice. And had a lovely visit. Yeah, so it was really nice seeing her. She's doing pretty good. She is kind of, she remembers everybody, but she does do a lot of repeating. So, you know, we kind of roll with it. And she waved to a bunch of different people who worked at the home. She didn't always know who they were, but, you know, there were things that she did remember doing though, so that really heartened me because, you know, I mean, this way it's nice because sometimes she'll just say, I don't know, you know, and almost kind of gives up on it, but she did remember. So that, you know, that was good. So we had a really nice visit. I'm hoping to be able to see her again soon. Obviously, we won't be up there for the holiday. And then we went out to dinner that night, and the rain really, really started. So that was it. And then the next day, Mo had to work. And if the weather hadn't been bad, I might have turned around and come back down to Delaware because Mo and I came up in one car because then Mo was going to drive down with Connor and let Connor do the driving. So we needed, you know, a way for Mo to get up there, which is why I went too. So he had to work, Mo did. And so I hung out part of the day, the first part of the day. Yeah, it was the first part of the day in the hotel lobby. Like I said, I got myself all situated and worked on some projects and so on. And then about mid-afternoon, Mo was able to kind of wrap that up for them. And then we went to go visit my in-laws, and we didn't do like a meal where my mother-in-law cooked or anything. We did some sort of takeout, but we had a visit in the afternoon, and then we had dinner. So that was kind of like our Christmas visit. So it was really nice. And then on Tuesday, the weather had cleared completely. I was able to drive back. So I left at 7:45 on Tuesday morning. And my biggest stoppage time was Connecticut. There was an accident. So when you get to those 2 lanes, the traffic just stops. And so I had a good, you know, 15-20 minute where I was just kind of hanging out in traffic. But then I had clear roads and clear skies, and that was what I had asked for. So I was very grateful for that. The trip, there's a lot of construction going on, and I drive a minivan. I am so ready for Connor to be out of college because I want to downsize. I've been driving a minivan since Megan was 3 months old, and I am ready for something smaller. So it was tight here and there because there's a lot of construction going on right now, all the way. So there was that. I had to mind my P's and Q's with that, but otherwise, like I said, it was fairly clear sailing. And so I did make it in 5 hours and 15 minutes. So if I hadn't gotten stuck, I would have done the 5 hours, which is pretty much the best you can do trip wise, unless you were to really speed, which, you know, I don't want to do that. So anyway, so I had a decent time of it. I was tired. So I got some stitching on Tuesday, but not much. And then Wednesday, Mo and Connor drove down. So Connor did the driving. Now they left a little later because, you know, Connor's just used to getting up a little later, right, in college. And we didn't want to say, Connor, get up at 7 a.m., which you don't normally do, be bleary-eyed and tired and then have to drive, right? So they left later. It took them about 6 hours or so, so it did take them longer. They got caught in a bit more traffic, but they made it safe and sound. And so Connor is here for the holidays, and I know there was a little bit more work for finals being done down here. I think it's done now. I figure Connor's got it under control. When it's done, it's done. So, And then Megan last night flew to North Carolina, and she is spending the holidays with Liz's family. So they had a flight last night. I guess the airport in Philly was really busy, and but they got to North Carolina safe and sound. She texted me after they got off the plane, so that was great. And so I know she's safe down there. And so it's just going to be the three of us for Christmas Eve, Christmas, and I'm okay with that, to be honest with you. We've got just some fun things. I think, I don't remember 100%, but we're going to do like fun meals on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and not with only the three of us. You know, you don't have to have this elaborate, crazy meal and everything else. So prep time will be less, cook time will be less. It'll just be kind of chill, and I'm actually really excited. And Mo is taking next week off. Usually by, hopefully this afternoon, they can say you're done. You can log off. You know, usually his company will give them, and you know, given the way it is this year, I don't see why they wouldn't. So hopefully he can kind of chill and log off. Hopefully, because Aston Villa is playing at 3 o'clock today. So you know where we're gonna be, what we're gonna be doing. And then he has all next week off, and we don't have anything specifically planned. We're just gonna kind of chill and enjoy ourselves and just be, to be honest with you. So, and New Year's, I never go out anymore. I am firmly in on New Year's. I'm in bed usually by 10:30, 11 o'clock if I'm lucky. So I don't even see midnight hit. So I am really looking forward to the last bit of 2023 as being kind of a time for just kind of resetting. And, I'm kind of gearing myself up to start a new year and so on and so forth, and not overdoing it with myself. So I'm really kind of looking forward to it. And then early January, we're going to see Megan. I don't know if Liz will come too, depends on schedules, but at the very least, we will see Megan. So that's super exciting. So the visit will come. I think Megan wants to come before Connor goes back to school. And I think it's not too far into January before Connor has to go back. So we will see on that, but that's for another video. But that's our plans coming up. That was our trip to Connecticut, and we saw some family. Thanksgiving is Mo's favorite holiday, so that's the one that he always just relishes in, has since we started, since our first year together. And he likes Christmas in different ways for different things, but Thanksgiving is his joy. So we had everybody here for Thanksgiving, and it was just really nice. So, that makes Christmas, we can just kind of mellow it with Christmas, and we'll see them. We're not worried about that. We will see the family at some other point. So that's it. I hope you are well. I hope you are taking care of yourself during this crazy, crazy time leading up to the holidays. Please enjoy this weekend as best you can. Please don't run yourself ragged. Please take some time for yourself. And like I said before I started the life stuff, I know it will be the greatest of joys for some people and the greatest of sorrows for others. And my thoughts are with you. And, I always feel, like I said, inadequate, but, I'm here for you if you need anything. And I'm just hoping that you have those that can lift you up a little bit somehow or other. And I know if you are alone on the holiday, Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, her Facebook group, Crafts and Books, I know that there is somebody hosting Christmas Zoom. There might even be a Christmas Eve Zoom, but I know on Christmas Day, there is some Zoom opportunities. So if you're feeling a little bit lonely, check out Beth's group. It's called Crafts and Books on Facebook, and all the information for doing the Zooms is there. And so there, you could have the chance to maybe at least have a chance to talk with others and not just be by yourself, unless that's what you choose. I mean, maybe you've been inundated with people. I don't know, I don't know anybody's circumstances, but sometimes, I don't know about you, but sometimes just some hours by yourself in the quiet is wonderful, blissful. So anyway, but I'm just wishing you well wherever you are in the spectrum. I hope it can be the best holiday season that it can be for you. And if you're not celebrating, I hope you just have a fabulous week doing whatever you're doing. As we gear into New Year's, I do, like I said, have one more Flossmas. Well, at least one more, right? I want to do my, what am I stitching next year, starting stitching next year video. I will be here next Friday because, like I said, we're not doing anything, going anywhere. So I should be ready to talk stitching if you're around. And yeah, that's about it. So as I'm coming in at my hour 20, let me wrap this up. Wishing you all the best. Please, please, please take care of yourself. Take some time for yourself. Do what makes you feel special because you are important and you matter. And it just needs to be done. Please, please, please. All right. So until next time, happy stitching.